Hey guys, this is a presentation for our pre-K to 2 grade band PLC. Today I want to walk you through, again, a reminder or review of accessing our St. Louis Academy Curriculum Frameworks dashboard, and then also to show you a great resource that's just been unveiled from the IDOE. So first, should look familiar. This is our St. Louis Academy Curriculum Frameworks dashboard. Anytime you see this A360, this is our state's school number. So every school in the state of Indiana has a number. Ours is A360. So if you ever see that, that means it is for St. Louis Academy. To access this, as a reminder, hopefully you've saved the staff drive as a bookmark. You'll find this right on our staff drive if you go down here, this A360 Curriculum Frameworks. So you can just click on that to open it up. If you guys are on a laptop, feel free to pause this video and pull this up so that everyone can see it and we can walk through these resources in real time. So if you want to pause and pull it up, you can pause now. Okay, so once everyone has their framework dashboard up for St. Louis Academy, you see all these green up here for ELA and math. That's because these have been completed, and then some of our compartmentalized down here, social studies and religion, Mr. Pape has completed. But our goal throughout the year is to be continuing to add to any of these frameworks that are incomplete. So science, social studies, and religion. And then for all the specials teachers, they are to complete all of the specials area. Music has been completed. That was completed last year by Lily. So if we come up here, and Danny will focus on science, social studies, and religion as those come out from the state. But right now the state has just completed ELA and math. So you're kind of in the clear for right now. So just follow along to maybe kindergarten, because it'd be really helpful for you to see. And you can look at some of the kindergarten frameworks to understand where the students are going, so you can base what you're teaching in science, social studies, and religion off of what kindergarten is doing. So if we come in here and we're looking at science for grade 1, we'll just pull that up right here together. Maybe. There we go. So this is already completed for the most part for you, just like ELA and math were. The yellow boxes are the areas where you are supposed to complete. Activities, resources, and checks for understanding. You'll notice that there is not an assessment box over here to the right. But anything that you're using as an assessment, you'll want to put in this box of activities, resources, and checks for understanding. So looking at this first one, wow. First graders are supposed to understand, for physical science, waves and their applications in technologies for information transfer. That sounds like a lot. And as a first grade teacher, I would be a little hesitant to dive into that and not sure exactly where to go for direction. I also want to point out towards the bottom, you can see all of the sciences are broken up by focus area. And we'll see that when we go into the IDOE Learning Lab. But it already has completed the academic vocabulary for that standard, the evidence statements, and then you would also take a look at, really, is it an essential standard or is it a standard? Essential standards for first grade are prerequisite standards that will be built upon in second grade and then in third grade, and for really the remainder of the child's academic career. Once they hit third grade, they will be assessed on iLearn in these essential standards. So again, it's essential that students understand this standard in first grade, because it will be built upon in second grade, in third grade, and so on and so forth. Not that the other standards aren't to be taught, but you can see this just tells you level of priority. This one has to be taught to mastery. Down here you see this is just a standard, so it's still important for them to understand it, not as important as this one, which actually I'm noticing the subdomain is the same. So we're going to dive into this so you can see how you would teach this. So if you log into the Learning Lab, everyone should have access to the Learning Lab. there are tons of resources in the Learning Lab. If you are looking to get some additional PGP points to renew your license, this would be a great place to go. There's lots of workshops that you can complete over time. There are videos, there are all kinds of things on here. But for the purpose of today, we're going to go to the search key. And if you've got your laptop open, let's all do this together. So we're going to type in 2023 Science Grade 1. 2023 Science Grade 1. Again, because we're looking for frameworks for that Grade 1 standard. So if I go down here and I look for 2023 Grade 1 Science Frameworks, I'm just going to click on that. This gives you some related resources, but you click on this, view this resource. And then once you pull this up, this is the Indiana Department of Education framework for Grade 1 Science Standards. So if you scroll down, you can see this lists all the science standards based on the new 2023 standards for Grade 1. Down here in the left column, there's a hyperlink to each standard, and then it tells you if it's essential or not. So let's count how many essential standards there are in Grade 1. There's 1, 2, 3. There are 3 essential standards. Now there are other standards, but essential standards are really the ones I want you to focus on first. So if we click this hyperlink, it takes us to an individual standard framework. Okay? It tells us what the standard is. It says students who demonstrate understanding can, and it tells you what they can do. Down here, it gives you some core ideas. So these are things you would add in your instruction. Sound can make matter vibrate, and vibrating matter can make sound. Cause and effect. Simple tests can be designed to gather evidence to support or refute student ideas about causes. So you can be discussing this. You could be asking them to be engaged in trying things out, trying their ideas. Just one thing that comes to mind is people playing telephone where they take the cans and they put a string across them, and they talk about it. So science and engineering practices, this just gives you a lot of background knowledge as a teacher to help you understand what it is you can teach these students to help them understand this concept. If you scroll down, again, here's the academic vocabulary. So this academic vocabulary right here should match our Grade 1. So this is materials, vibrate, sounds, communicate, investigate, matter, pattern, cause, and effect. Yep, so these vocabulary words match our Diocesan framework for this standard. And then the evidence statements, let's see. I believe those are right here. So those evidence standards match, or evidence statements match. This also tells you prerequisite skills. So the early learning standard, so Danny, this would be you, early learning standard, engage in a scientific experiment with peers. That would be a standard that a preschooler would master, and communicate results of an investigation. That would also be something that you would cover in preschool, early learning standards. And then this is another early learning statement. So again, these are prerequisites. What are the previous grades teaching that is being built so that by the time they get to first grade, this is something that they can master? And then looking ahead, these are things, it says 4 PS41. So as fourth graders, these are things that they will be learning about. So they'll continue to build on this standard up to grade 4, probably beyond grade 4, but it just lists grade 4. This is the exciting part. If you scroll down, it gives you multiple instructional resources. Now, you could take all of these hyperlinks. If you are starting at ground zero, if we don't have a science textbook for your class and you're not sure what to do, you could take all these hyperlinks and copy them right into the activities and resources and checks for understanding box. I would go through them and look and see which ones you actually plan to use, because again, these frameworks are to be a reference and something you're adding to every year. What are you actually using as an activity, a resources, a check for understanding to help students understand this lesson? And hopefully throughout the years, as we have more and more times to collaborate with other schools, you're building these tools in these boxes as you talk about what other schools are doing that is successful. If you pull up YouTube and you Google this and you find a child video or a video for children that helps them understand this concept, I would go back, I would link it right into your activities, resources, and checks for understanding so that next year when you're making your daily lesson plans for this standard, you have resources that you know you can build into each daily lesson plan until the students master this concept. So the two main points, really understanding this framework and that these are living documents that we're going to continue to add to and build throughout the year. And then also the Learning Lab. Again, you go to the Learning Lab, go in this little search bar. So if we wanted to search grade 2 science frameworks, it would get pulled up. We'd find grade 2. Here's grade 2 science frameworks. Same thing. Kindergarten, we could do all of the grades that way. We could do social studies. So kindergarten social studies frameworks. Kindergarten social studies frameworks is the first one that pops up. And then there's a resource guide even. So the Learning Lab, I cannot say enough about how useful this will be if you're ever stuck and not sure how to teach one of the new 2023 standards. The other thing I want you to remember is that we are not alone in some of these standards and not having resources right in front of us to teach them because they're new. We haven't bought new textbooks. There's actually a diocesan hold on purchasing any new textbooks by any school. So we're going to be in the same boat as a lot of other schools, and I want you guys to just have a leg up and know how to access the Learning Lab, how you can find these resources, and then again, going back to the curriculum frameworks, adding these things into your diocesan framework table for the different standards. I hope this helps. I hope this gives you, some encouragement and some direction as you're looking at these standards. Again, this will be a process we're going to complete together throughout the year. You'll have different times to be plugging in and accessing and adding to these. So I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. We're going to do this together. It's just the beginning of the year and it's the first year with these new standards. I anticipate more resources coming out soon. But for now, thank you for your attention and for walking through this, and we'll see you soon.